Today, the last verses in Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 27 to 29. Behold, I have discovered this, says the preacher, adding one thing to another to find an explanation, which I am still seeking, but have not found. I have found one man among 1,000, but I have not found a woman among all these. Behold, I have found only this, that God made men upright, but they have sought out many devices. All right, we're doing this segment from 7:15 through to the end of the chapter. And in verse 29, we find one of the most insightful, helpful verses in the Bible to help us understand human nature. And that's really what Solomon's talking about in this multi-verse section here, these past few many mornings. He's talking about human nature, fallen human nature where we've done some of the sin stuff, right? And we're thoroughly distorted and messed up. So what is his conclusion at the end of this point? Well, he comes up to verse 29 and he says, I have found this. There's some things I haven't discovered, I haven't figured out, but I have found out this. And what is it? God made man upright, but men have sought out many devices. So let's think about that, because that's a primary Bible statement about human nature. Don't miss this. To this morning is an opportunity. So God made man upright. At the end of Genesis 1, he looks at all of his creation, including humans, and he says, this is not just good, it is very good. Tov me'od in Hebrew, right? This is very good. Humans, as originally designed, are very good. So that's the human nature. That's God's intention and his plan for human nature. But then he says, but, and that's that terrible but they have sought out many devices. And so that's the problem here. Humans have sought out many devices. So that's the thing with human nature. God made man upright. He made us with a good nature. He did not booby trap you. You and I are not born booby trapped. That's not the original plan. But our ancestors, yes, and we've sought out many things that were not originally intended or intended to be sought out in the way we've sought it out. So Solomon recognizes God made man upright, but we've sought out many inventions. In other words, we've gone totally astray. We've gone way off the track. And so we were designed one way. We have an innate nature, which is basically good seeking, and yet we've become introverted. We've turned around and become self-centered, and our ancestors did, and so are we. And then by sinning, we've made it even worse. And so that problem is in every one of us, no exceptions, no exceptions. Humans aren't like just naturally good and we're going to get better. We've been messed up from almost day one. God knew that could happen and has accounted for it. And through Jesus, he gives us the power and the help to become the sons and daughters of God. So yes, we've made some giant mistakes. You were walking in the cow pasture and you stepped in a spot and you said, oh, the cows have been here, right? You've got that kind of a nature. It's messed up, but God's going to take us where we are and he's going to give us good things. So here's a really important verse here, a really important segment that's telling us about good and evil in humanity. And God's plan is what? God made us upright and he's going to take us back to that, but along the way, we've sought out many devices. Okay, we're looking at these last verses, and we're going to put in a note at verse 29. And 29 is really one of the giant keeper verses of the Old Testament. Human nature is good at its beginning, but then it is distorted. God started out, God made man upright, but humans have sought out many inventions, many devices. Okay, so our humanity is distorted by our sin adventures. And I don't mean adventures in the positive way, in the very negative way, misadventure. All sin is misadventure. So we want to get away from all sin and get back to true humanity. True humanity is that we are moving in the direction of being upright again through the grace and the power of God. So, yeah, you and I are in a challenging spot, but God will be our helper. He will. All right, next time we get together, we'll move on into chapter 8.